Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Keem's Catch. Today, I'm showcasing the Arkansas River below Pueblo Reservoir, one of the more consistent and underrated trout fisheries in Colorado, and a stretch of river that fishes especially well during the winter season. In this video, I'll show you how I approach fly fishing Pueblo during the colder months, what I look for on the water, and the specific strategies and flies that work best on this stretch of the river. Because Pueblo sits lower and runs warmer than much of Colorado, winter creates great conditions here. The river stays clear, flows remain consistent, and trout continue to feed aggressively. But make no mistake, these fish are still pressured and selective. Success on this water comes from staying adaptable, covering water, making adjustments, and paying attention to how fish respond. The Arkansas River below Pueblo Reservoir fishes consistently because of steady flows, improved structure, and easy access, and those factors matter even more in the winter. This section of the river has benefited from years of stream improvement work and support from the nearby state fish hatchery. Crossveins, in-stream boulders, and added structure created defined seams and holding water, while regular stocking of both rainbow and browns helped maintain consistent trout numbers throughout the year. According to Colorado Parks and Wildlife, the river is stocked annually with fingerling brown trout, and catchable-sized rainbow trout are stocked monthly. While rainbows make up the bulk of the population, anglers who move and stay adaptable can find high-quality fish mixed throughout the system, including the occasional 20-plus inch trout. Another reason Pueblo stands out is the access. Nearly the entire 8-mile stretch below the reservoir is public water, making it easy to spread out and explore different sections. Parking is available both inside and outside of Pueblo State Park. Some areas require park pass and others don't. I'll leave exact coordinates in the comments below. What really sets Pueblo apart in the winter is the climate. Sitting lower than many Colorado fisheries, this stretch runs warmer and stays more stable through the colder months. The river rarely freezes, flows remain consistent, and trout continue to feed throughout the winter. Those conditions don't make fishing easy, but they do make it consistently fishable, which is exactly what you want this time of year. When it comes to matching the hatch on this river, winter is a very manageable time of the year. While you don't see the same insect variety you get in spring or summer, that simplicity works in your favor. Trout here are keyed in on just a few food sources, which makes fly selection more straightforward and allows you to focus more on presentation and coverage. For this stretch of the Arkansas in the winter, midges and betas make up the majority of the trout's diet. Those two insects account for most of the activity you'll see, and once you commit to them well, patterns and sizes become easier to dial in. For this time of year, I usually bring two rods with me, a 3-weight dry fly rod and a 5-weight nymphing rod. That way I can adapt quickly if fish start feeding subsurface or begin to rise. The prime feeding window on this river is typically between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. when water temperatures are their warmest and both midge and betas activity are most likely. Outside of that window, fish will still eat, but presentations usually need to be a bit more subtle and precise. Winter on the Arkansas in Pueblo isn't about guessing or constantly changing patterns. It's about recognizing what's available, staying adaptable, and fishing those few food sources with confidence. For most winter days on the Arkansas River in Pueblo, nymphing is my primary approach. During the colder parts of the day, trout tend to feed subsurface, especially in slower seams, softer edges, and deeper runs created by the river's structure. Because flows are stable and water is clear, getting your flies to the right depth and maintaining a clean drift is more important than pattern changes. I usually run a 3-fly rig on this river. During the main feeding window, my top fly or attractor is a blood midge in sizes 20 to 22. My second fly is a Baetis imitation like a pheasant tail in sizes 20 to 22. And my third fly is another midge or merger pattern like a chocolate foamback, top secret midge, or an RS2 in sizes 24 to 26. Outside of the main feeding window, I'll often fish all midge patterns, focusing more on depth, control, and drift. One thing that matters a lot here is downsizing. Midges get smaller as they progress from a larva to an adult, and on clear winter days, trout here can be very selective. Because the water is low and clear, I typically fish a 9-foot 6X nylon leader with 6X fluorocarbon tippet to help keep things light and avoid spooking fish. For strike detection, I rely on white yarn indicators, which makes it easier to pick up the subtle takes that are common on this river in the winter. Dry fly opportunities on the Arkansas River in Pueblo can be a regular part of winter fishing when conditions line up. Because this stretch runs warmer and stays stable, midday conditions often trigger consistent midge and Baetis activity. When that happens, trout will set up and feed on the surface for longer periods than many anglers expect during the winter. When I see fish looking up, I switch to a simple dry fly setup. I like to fish patterns like the mole fly and parachute Adams in sizes 20 to 24. On this river in the winter, presentation matters more than patterns. Short casts, good angles, and a clean drift are usually what make the difference. Winter dry fly fishing in Pueblo can be one of the more enjoyable ways to fish this stretch of the river. When fly fishing the Arkansas River in Pueblo during the winter, reading the water and timing your approach make a big difference. Flows are lower and the water is clearer this time of year, which means trout tend to hold in predictable places, but they also spook more easily. Paying attention to where fish are positioned and how they're feeding is more important than covering water blindly. Early in the day, trout are usually found in deeper pools, softer seams, and slower edges, especially water created by structure like crossveins and boulders. These areas offer both depth, reduced current, which allows fish to conserve energy while still feeding. As the day warms and insect activity increases, trout often slide into shallower runs and riffles, particularly where faster water transitions into softer seams. These transition zones are some of the most productive water on this river in the winter. Rather than staying in one spot, I like to move and check different types of water, watching for subtle rises, changes in drift quality, or signs of bug activity. If something isn't working, small adjustments in depth, weight, and location usually make more difference than forcing the same approach. It's also important to be mindful of the reds, as spawning activity can still occur late into the season. Avoid fishing over clean gravel patches where fish may be actively spawning. Fly fishing the Arkansas River in Pueblo during the winter isn't about chasing perfect conditions or easy fish. It's about understanding what this river offers: stable flows, clear water, consistent insect activity, and trout that remain active throughout the colder months. The fishing here still requires adjustment and attention, but Pueblo gives you the opportunity to stay on the water and fish effectively when many other rivers slow down. For anglers willing to adapt, move, and respond to what the river is doing, winter can be one of the most rewarding times to fish this stretch of the Arkansas. Thanks for watching. Like or subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and as always, I'll see you out on the river. Take care.